So exotic.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Health with Natalie Cuomo. I'm here with two comics I've admired for a very long time, Katie Hannigan and Sarah Tollemache. Thank you for joining me.
Yes,
thanks for having
amazing.
us.
I'm not 100% sure what the concept of this podcast is, but I feel like you are staging your own intervention. Is that right? You've invited us here to guide you
Yes.
on your path to becoming a woman.
Exactly.
And I think we can do that.
We can absolutely do that.
You guys have a podcast together called Lady Journey.
Yes, it is a celebration of the mundane.
Yes.
Lady Journey is like if you find yourself violently into overnight oats for about a week and a half and then you never think of it again. That's
Yes.
a lady journey.
That is. Sometimes I wonder if we're just, it's ADHD is what our podcast is about.
Yeah, I was listening to our last episode and I was thinking to myself, I said, could I say like in between every other word more? It's like, like when you're getting a have you ever had like one of those things called a latte?
Yes.
It's like a coffee, but it has milk.
Oh, that's just the human existence.
It is the human existence. And did you see Jacqueline Novak's show about when the guy that she's dating, the father is like, why do you say like all the time? And she's like, those are the stones that I throw into the river so you're not over encompassed by all the spew of knowledge coming at you.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Like it's a female defense mechanism.
It just might be.
Yeah.
It is because we always are told to take up less space. So I feel like it's
cut it up
kind
with
of like
likes.
that.
It's easier for them to digest, and then they get mad at us.
Mine, I do okay at the end of every sentence.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That's
So
another one I do.
Katie was telling me a little bit. What is Lady Journey?
Lady Journey. Sometimes I'm like, I think it's when you're like, I'm back on my shit again.
I am back on my packing cubes.
Yeah.
It's I feel like I just downed it talking about how stupid I sound on the podcast, but it's actually brilliant.
Yeah.
It's lifestyle. So we talk about travel. We do a lot of self-help stuff there because I think there's so much self-help that's floating around, especially for women, that's just taking advantage of the fact that society is always telling you that you need to be more and better.
Yes. Hustle, side hustles, hustle culture. All like the bullshit that you're fed, and then just also like every kind of fear that's installed in women.
Yeah, it's like
or feminine spirit.
Into the feminine spirit, because it's not just for women; it's for people of any or indeterminate genders or identifications. But the feminine spirit is something that we all have inside of us.
Yes.
And that's a lady journey.
So are you guys giving advice?
I mean, we don't really give advice. Like sometimes we did a takedown of Teal Swan's nonsense for Off the Deep End in Hulu, and that's on our Patreon if you want to.
Yeah, and I think most of the time it's really like, what are you into this week? What's the thing that's feeding your feminine spirit?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm really into farmers markets.
Yeah.
Oh,
farmers market.
Seasonal fruit.
Like when everybody went through a bread phase during pandemic, I would say
Bread
that would be
phase.
like a lady journey.
Okay.
We've done color palettes.
Yes. So there's always like a new trend and then we try to like tackle that, see if we are into it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a current trend that you guys are into right now?
Definitely eco. We've kind of jumped on the eco bandwagon just, to feel great about. I'm kind of working on this joke right now where eco is something that I've never felt more amazing to be poor in my life, because you're not, it's not that you can't afford the car. You're a hero.
Yeah.
So, so I love it for that. I'm like, oh my God, buying high-end fashion would never, because I can't afford it.
Yeah. So it's thrifting.
Yeah, thrifting.
Right.
Thrifting.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at.
You guys are both great, successful comics. Can you tell me a little bit about, I literally could just sit here and soak up everything from both of you. I've admired your comedy since before I even started, which now I sound like a dumb fangirl, but what's the best advice you've ever, I'm like gonna blush because I feel embarrassed. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I received a ton of bad advice early on.
A lot of bad advice, but this wasn't advice given to me directly, but I did hear it on a podcast when I first moved here that John Fish had in the tank, and he had a female comic on, and I wish I could remember her full name. Her name's Becky, and she's from Boston. But she said, go where the love is.
Oh, I have heard that. I've heard that as well. And
I've never heard it.
It's
Really?
such good advice.
Yes.
Prepare to be blown away.
It's like if you're getting no's from a certain place,
Yes.
it's just no. But then you've also found that there's other areas in your life that you tend to get yeses and that you also enjoy, that you should really just go towards the yeses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, not saying like it's not like giving up or anything. I wouldn't say it's in that realm, but like, you know, just think of all the comedy clubs in the city and that everybody has their eye on some of the big ones. And then sometimes you just get a no from it. And it's like you focus all your energy on it when there's so many other venues in the city that might be more into your style of comedy.
Yes.
And that you could just focus your energy on that instead of, you know, trying so hard for a place to like you, and they never will. And it's almost like that desperation makes them even like you less.
Yes, everybody's on their own power trip. But yeah, that's how somebody actually told me that it's same advice secondhand. I think it was my old roommate, Kelly Festuca. She must have listened to the podcast too. But she had explained it to me, like, if you go to a club, exactly, and like you always are trying to hang out there, you're trying to get in there, but they won't put you on the avail list, or they won't, or you're on, but they won't book you, then it's like, stop putting the time and the energy into that place. Take the loss of being like, well, I guess I didn't get in here. And then maybe go focus your time on, like, if there's an alt room that you love and you always do well there, then go spend more time there.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever like a moment in your comedy career that was actually pivotal? Like, do things ever actually matter that much? Or do you think that maybe you spend time as a comic, like building things up in your head? Like, if I got this would change my career entirely? Or is this just something that we tell ourselves?
I think there absolutely are moments like that.
There are a few pivotal, but now there's not. I don't think there's ever really huge wins. It's a bunch of small things leading up to years.
Well, it's like the day-to-day is the most important thing of any of it. It's like if you're not like writing and performing every day, then you're not going to get an opportunity that could be life-changing for your career.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like acting, for example, which I also do. Toot toot. But it's like I have to keep my acting game strong. I have to take my classes during the summer. I have to, if I have an audition, you have to audition regularly, because if you just get an audition out of nowhere and you're totally out of practice, you haven't done anything for a year, there's no way you're going to nail the audition.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with stand-up. You have to be like working and performing every night. So then when you serendipitously do get a big opportunity that could help you, you're on the ball.
Yeah. Because I would always think it's like, remember like Jeremy Lin? He just kind of happened, they just put him in and then he had an amazing streak. It's like he was ready for that moment. So I feel like things are, sometimes you're never like the first choice, but they're like, okay, well, can you do it this week? And then they see that every time you fill in that you're just consistent, that that's where like things I think start to pick up.
Yeah, when people are like, "Oh, she's on time, she's well dressed, and she doesn't like scream at the wait staff."
Yes.
And she has a decent set. Like, let's put her on the avails. Yeah, like I remember I used to go to clubs and I would like sit in the back and I would watch people and I would feel like really bummed that I wasn't on. I would just have that feeling of like, put me in, coach.
Yeah, I can do this.
And then now that I'm kind of on the other side of it, I realize like, oh, it's not really necessarily about like the best person that's always going to crush. It's about like the people liking you, and it's about consistent. Exactly like Sarah said.
Being consistent. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, because I was going to think like what I had one pivotal moment I think in the city that helped me was winning or doing really well in the Caroline's March Madness.
Oh my God, I remember that year. Yes, you did so good in that year. You nailed it.
You're flailing along and then like you think nothing, and then that was it seemed to me after that I started getting club spots and avails were being sent out. But that was a moment where like everyone is on their shit. They're not paying attention, but that was this, like, that's a competition where in the first round, it's, 64 comics, even more.
So everyone's,
it's like 64. Everyone does 1 minute. And then once you get to when you get to the final four of that contest, It starts out 64, then it goes by half.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the actual March Madness, I assume, which I've never looked into. I've never exposed myself to it in any way. But
exactly. But then that was like the first time you had 64 comics watching you. Where in the past it would maybe be like 8 and they're just looking at their notebooks.
When people do well in that show, I feel like those shows are brutal because it's Caroline's audience is mostly like Times Square people that are tourists, and so you have to really have a solid joke and performance to do well in front of them. I made it to the 8 one year. I just want to say, I did great. I did great, and then I lost.
I lost the first round, but then there was the pandemic, so no one got to do it. So
it doesn't matter.
Did they have it again this year? Did they have it again?
I hope not.
Past year.
I don't know. But then they have like New York's Funniest. So I always tell people like, you know, I know it hurts your soul, but it doesn't. If you even lose in the first round, it doesn't even matter because sometimes you go up against the guy that's never done. He only does stand up once a year, and he brings all of his friends and family.
Yes.
And for 1 minute, of course, he can like kill in that 1 minute. And most of the time, they're like, "Isn't it crazy that Charles is on stage?" Like they're laughing at that fact. So just because you lose in the first round on some of those, it's just like a fluke, and it doesn't mean anything. So I say try to do some of that stuff if you're trying to like break into the scene or have more people see you.
Yeah. I think that's good advice. I think they do have, you know, there's tons of comedy contests and festivals, and I think that those are a good way to get in.
How new were you when you did that?
Comedy wise, not that new, but in the city, I think I was about 4 years in, which felt like an eternity. I was telling Joe that recently, like 2 years into the city, I'm like, you just feel like you've been here forever. And then you're like, nothing's happening because you have some people, this is what happens when you compare yourself to others. Some people just move in like within the first year and they're getting JFL, they're getting booked in all the clubs. And then you're like,
I'm off to Hollywood. And you're like, wait, I thought we were friends. They're like, you're garbage.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's so demoralizing when it's like that. So in retrospect, it's like, oh, I probably had several years to still like, I could have just flailed a little bit.
The first 2 years I lived here felt like the longest years of my entire life. And I wasn't even doing stand-up. I started about a year and a half after I moved here, I think. So, but yeah, it was just like learning the subway. Everything was so different from where I came in Indiana.
Yeah.
And just, I remember I was like, this feels like a waking nightmare. Every day I'm being jostled. I'm working for no money. I was working for like $9 an hour.
It's so bad. And then you have to go out at night to do like, travel an hour to do 2 minutes at a Brooklyn mic.
Yeah.
No one's like paying attention.
And I used to go out to that open mic at the Pit that started at 11.
Yes.
And then I would go all the way back. I lived in like Prospect Heights, Crown Heights on the border at the time. I would go all the way back on the train, and every night, oh, excuse me, that's my birth control alarm. I cannot mute it for a podcast.
Lady Journey.
But I would come back. It was like every time I would come home late at night, my roommate would be like, why don't you just take a car? And I was like, I don't know. I can't afford like a $75 like black car. This is pre-Uber.
Yeah.
And so I would just come home and every night would just be like a narrow escape of like a man chasing me with his dick out. I'd just be like, well, whew, I made it this time.
What do you think, like, how has it been for you, like, making friends, being in the community in New York? Like, what has it been like building that, like, comedy community?
It was brutally hard for me to make friends when I first started comedy.
It's so weird because I think you might be the same as me. Like, I felt like I didn't really come up here with the scene. Like, sometimes there's a movement from one city, like Chicago. I remember one year had 20 comics move in.
Yeah, people come with their cliques and then they just have built-in friend groups. And I didn't have that because first of all, there was no comedy in Indiana at that time. There was like one club. And then also I started here, so.
Yeah. But I always say sometimes it depends on your personality type, but I would always tell people hey, if you can't like network, it's a lot outside, in physical world, get online. Just like At the time, it's like everyone's online 24/7. So it is one big party. And so if you're posting all the time and then people are commenting and then you reply back, like all of a sudden you're putting names to faces. You remember them when you see them outside in the world, that now you have like a jumping off point to talk about or joke about stuff, or like I just felt like it was a lot easier for me to socialize online than it was in the physical world in the beginning. So I always tell everybody, like, make yourself, like a thing that people constantly see. Yeah, have a presence.
I felt like when I started too, it was very few women. Like I would see you around like every now and then.
It's like 1 to 2 women out of 20 guys.
At every open mic, when I started, it was like less than 3 women at every single open mic. Yeah. Now it's a lot more, which is so awesome. Because at least like I think with women, you can be like, that's how I became friends with Allison Leiby. Actually, we were
like, hi,
do you feel safe in here? But yeah, and that was tough too, because I would always feel like I would even try to be friendly, but I was socially awkward at the time, so I would just be like going to a circle like, hey, and people were like, oh, do we know you? And then like some people would just be like rude, like these insecure dudes, many of whom are doing really well right now, and I resent it, but they'd be like, oh, are you new? It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I had a guy like give me shit about a joke once. He was like, did you really do an abortion joke? And I went to be like, you did a joke about getting your dick sucked.
Yeah,
like,
which is an
how
abortion.
How are you?
It's a male abortion.
But I'm like, how are you? Are you really bringing the originality? To the comedy world? Like, fuck off.
The open mic scene is just a toxic cesspool of unwell people that are like, the world needs to hear my thoughts.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like quitting?
All the time. I feel like that almost like once a week.
No, you don't.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always telling Katie that I might pivot into social media management.
No way.
This is a thread. I, on the other hand, I never think about quitting because I'm like, I don't know what else I would do. It would have to
social media management.
No, I can't do that. It's too hard. I'd have to like fake my own death and then just like do that like willing workers on organic farms or something in like Hawaii.
Wonderful. Yes.
Just woofing, changing my name to Autumn.
No, it's a lot, but then there are times where I'm like, I just say that I'm going to do a Thelma and Louise and just drive this car over the cliff of comedy. Like, just keep going until you're dead. Yeah.
I love it. Or, I mean, my one fantasy has been to just kind of go out in a blaze of glory online. Just a total kamikaze of like telling everybody what I've ever thought of them. Just posting it publicly and then resurfacing on Facebook a week later like nothing happened. Hey, aren't sandals weird?
I feel like you would blow up by being not on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it that would be your Hannah Gadsby moment.
Oh my God. Hannah Gadsby.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you have like a writing process? Like what is your process for writing a new joke?
Well, I have a pretty strict writing process that I write like every day usually, unless I have something else that's come up like an audition or some other kind of project. But I usually free write for about an hour a day, and then I spend an hour writing jokes in a way that's like pretty organic and fun. And then I'll take it out at night and I'll try it out, and then the next day I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's my process basically. So I will try to like mine a joke to see like different angles. What's here? Like, what do I think about it? And then I will try to fashion it into more of like a joke structure of like set up punch, or I really like to do misdirection. So like, where can I like throw a little like magic trick in here to make this more fun and exciting?
So you will free write just like stream of consciousness, and then when you say like I'll write like an organized structure, what does that mean? Like, what does that entail? Like, I'll write jokes in a more organized way.
I'll be like I have an idea for a joke, which I've collected. So like if I'm out and I'm like, dudes are weird because they always fart, whatever. I'll be like, okay, that's my joke. So then when I have my organic writing time, I'll take my premise and then I'll say like, what are the different angles of the premise here? Like, for example, I've been working on a lot of jokes about the climate crisis because I'm doing a grant program that's about informing people about climate change through stand-up. So I'll be like, I have an idea, like the joke I was saying I was working on before of like, I feel great about climate crisis because I've never felt better to be poor. So then I'll be like, what are some other little jokes that I can think of off of that, and brainstorm and brainstorm and brainstorm, and then kind of like cut out the ones that aren't working and then try it out.
Are there questions that you ask yourself while you're writing? Like I've found recently that like the best way for me to write is by like asking myself questions to like figure out like why it's funny. Is that like part of your writing process at all? Or is there like how do you like, what is that process like of like fleshing out a joke?
I mean, it's totally organic.
Just,
like for me, it's more like maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this.
Okay.
Ooh, is that something? Like, is that like a thing? And I think like for me, a big part is like putting myself into a playful mindset where it's like I'm hanging out with my friends, you know, because I used to like write and I'd be like, "You're a fucking idiot,"
Yeah.
and then it's like that'll shut the creativity down real bad. I'm like, now I'm just like writing a spiral, free writing. I'm like, I fucking hate myself.
I know, it's so bad.
Yeah, the brain is a treacherous place.
That's why when people are, you know, there was that old notion, I don't think so much anymore, but people being like, I can only write when I'm depressed. Like,
Yeah.
be funny in the sad moments. And you're like, I think I come up with more stuff when I'm having fun.
Yeah, when I'm having fun and I feel like things are going well and I'm like, oh, I'm a good writer and I know what to do.
Yeah.
Not when I'm like, no one will ever love me. That's like such an antiquated notion of comedy from like the 90s, I think, where it was like all these like dude bros with like long hair who today would be considered like highly mediocre, just like being like, I had a thought. And people are like, just being applauded.
Yeah, I kind of put that in like the Bill Hicks school of comedy. Even though he's great, but it's like it had derivatives that weren't great.
Yeah, it was like, yes, Bill, you're coming up with a brilliant premise, but I don't it was very it was funny to me, like when people went to town on Hannah Gadsby, for example, they were like, this isn't comedy. It's like, is Bill Hicks, is what he's doing
I know, you're
genuinely hilarious, or did you watch it high and you thought you had an epiphany about life?
I know, and then now everybody's doing a Hannah Gadsby.
Yes, yeah.
What is your writing process like, Sarah?
So I'm like Katie, I try to do the free writing, but nothing ever comes from it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just do that as like something to feel like I'm doing something, but I know it doesn't do anything. So then after that, a lot of it's through conversation, because I feel like when you're talking about stuff out loud, you tend to go down roads that you probably wouldn't normally go down by yourself.
True.
And also, a lot of times I think when my mind is relaxed is when I'm doing like tedious activities like washing the dishes or even driving or something. A lot of the times I'm ruminating over stuff that bothers me. And I feel like that's kind of a good place, or something where I always question any interaction or something that's like weird or off. You're like, why was that off?
Yeah.
What is going on in here? Why? And so those are the moments that are funny to me. And also kind of like problem solving, trying to figure out what's my way of dealing with this. And sometimes because my mind is kind of can be irrational. I find that to be like the funny part is like just talking about your problem solving situation. And then, so it'll start off like a tweet. I'll have an idea. It'll be tweeted and then I'll take it to the stage. And then if that gets a good response, then I'm having fun on stage. And then I kind of can go off from there. And so I think I do a lot of my writing on stage. I'll just bring premises to the stage, throw them out, and then as time goes by, they slowly, inadvertently just turn into something.
Cool.
Yeah.
I find that so interesting because I do a lot of ruminating. As a woman, I'm like constantly fixating on stuff in my mind, and it could be like the smallest thing of like, I'm walking down the street and a man's walking towards me and I move out of the way and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then it just completely takes over your whole day. But I like that you're using it as a force for good instead of letting it drive you into the ground, which is
well, I feel like it can release you that way. And then because there are like when you're in a 12-step program, it's called like inventory of like what's your part in it, and that kind of is a writing exercise in itself. Because I do feel like those moments separate you from taking a general observation that I think most people are having. Like, I consider hot takes a lot of the time, like, oh my God, if I have to hear this same kind of hot take on Instagram.
Donald Trump's bad. What? No. What? He's orange.
Yeah, it's just like, it gets boring. Like, people that I really enjoy are the ones that talk more about their life. And I think inadvertently, that in itself can be political because they're a representation of a demographic or relatable.
Right.
Yeah, being your authentic self is, I think, more relatable than a completely inorganic way of trying to find something and then be relatable about it.
Yeah, I find it hard. Well, I was talking to Jordan Jensen about this on like maybe 2 episodes ago about like how I feel like about the jokes that are like, so airplanes, airplane trays versus the jokes that are like more storytelling about your life and like the progression of like being able to talk about those things. I feel like I don't really joke about things that are outside of myself to that extent. I don't know.
But you can also, though. I think you can also, because I love like a good little observational humor. I mean, airplane, right, it's like a little hacky, but I kind of like that stuff too.
Yeah, because even in the world of like airplane stuff that's about airplanes, it's a big part of our lives, that you can still have a moment that's like indicative to you and how you handle that situation. So then that makes it stand out from the others.
Yeah.
Just because if that joke could probably take place anywhere, but it happened at the airport.
Right.
So it's fine. I think it's fine.
I screamed at a dog. Whoops. I guess the bottom line of what Sarah's saying is like developing the self-awareness when something happens to you, that you can be like, was there something funny about that? Like, there's so many anomalies occurring constantly. And I think as comedians, that is one of the skills that we have of like, instead of like just purely knowing joke structure, but like the self-awareness to be like, this is a double standard, or this doesn't quite make sense. Like,
why does it work this way but not this way?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Well, like because like an example, I just remember one time, like I was thinking about like, God, it's so crazy that I went to the hospital for food poisoning, which was just ultimately like really bad diarrhea. But to be like, it's $20,000, but to act like it's the most expensive diarrhea, as if it's like a luxury item. Like, those are like, that was something that's just like sitting over the sink or standing over the sink cleaning dishes, where you're thinking about like, God, that's so like crazy. Like, diarrhea is like $20,000.
How traumatic that you had to lose 20 grand because you had like a bad poop. It's like so traumatic. I love that bit, by the way, Sarah. I think that's so funny.
Thank you. And I think it's more than just diarrhea. It's the medical system.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, a personal scenario.
Right.
Can inadvertently be a political statement in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, your joke that I brought up to you that I loved about your chicken soup joke.
Yes.
Oh, yes. The chicken soup. The chicken soup, I feel like that was the one good joke I ever wrote in my life.
No!
My chicken soup joke. Yeah, that actually came from I had pink eye. I had like vicious pink eye. And this was when I was working at the preschool, and I like went and my eye was so fully, they were like, you can't be here.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get like paid time off. So I was just like working through it. Like, and
Absolutely.
they sent me home. And I went to go. First of all, the doctor was like X amount of money, and I went to go get the medicine, and it was $99, and I was like, forget it. Like, I'm just gonna wait it out, I guess, because I'm not paying $100. So that joke came out of that, again, a personal scenario.
Yeah.
Of just not having access to healthcare, and then that being such an easy. By the way, if you get pink eye, you can just buy what's that thing? Visine.
Yeah.
Buy Visine. You have mostly pink eye's caused from like a bacterial infection in your eye, and the Visine has like, I guess, acid. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but it helps cure it. So little health tip there.
That's another thing we do on Lady Journey is we just spread stuff, scientific knowledge with no backing.
Yes. Yeah.
See, here's what I'm impressed about. You guys were both able to take pretty negative situations and make them funny. I feel like that. I mean, that's really difficult. So I had this situation where I was driving to my show at the Stand that I was producing. So I was like, I really want to be there on time. Thankfully, I had a good friend that I trusted hosting it. So it wasn't that crazy that I was late because he was running the show. But I'm driving from another show in Brooklyn. I'm going over the Williamsburg Bridge, and it's like a 5-lane bridge, and it was 2 lanes because there was construction. So I'm trying to like merge on right, and I kind of like kiss this other car a little bit, like a little
just a little sexy.
Yeah, a little like I didn't think he would even think anything of it.
Yeah,
just a little like
a love tap,
and I go ahead of him, and no one's saying anything about our little interaction till like the bridge kind of opens up at the end, and he's like waving his phone at me. He's like, I'm gonna call the cops, kind of thing. This story
you're
is
it's almost like you're in a meet cute and he's wanting your phone number because he likes you.
Well, it's almost like that. Although, this story is going to infuriate you. It's crazy, and I can't make I have to stop. Okay, so then he's like, and I'm just so stressed. It's like 9:10 at this point, and I pull over and I'm like, okay. And he has like this black Subaru with like the tiniest little scratch on it. Like nothing. Like my car is really beat up because
you keep dinking other people.
Just kidding. I like to give people little kisses on the road. I find where the love is. That's all.
You go where the love is with your car.
I go where the love is. Yeah. And I drive like it's Grand Theft Auto. But anyway, he's like, I need to take a picture of your license, and the cops need to come right now, blah, 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 or you can give me $500 right now.
That's extortion.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And we're like at the end of the Williamsburg Bridge in Manhattan. There's like all these homeless people crowding around us, just like, it was like crazy. And he's like, you need to give me, he's like, go take out cash right now. Like, I'll follow you right now. Like, go take out cash. And I was like, no. He's like, okay, well then I'm calling the cops and I need to take a picture of your license, blah, blah, blah. And like, also in my head, I'm like, I need to go to my show.
I know.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you just be like, this is my insurance number. If you have a claim, call my insurance.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
Call the cops.
Yeah, because people, I feel like you got shaked down.
I felt very like, this is like embarrassing. I felt very stressed out. And I also just felt like I really didn't want him to take a picture of my ID because I felt like that was.
Because you don't have one.
Like, it's so funny. We slowly find out this story that you're like a complete monster.
I don't have a license.
I hit a car and mine was stolen. So I had to go. I had to run. I had to run him over.
So you see my issue here.
This is a great joke.
Okay, long story short, I'm panicking. I'm freaking out, and and he signs a piece of paper that says that I paid him. I give this guy $500 on the side of the road.
Oh my god,
Natalie,
really bad. Like
you should have taken his information too.
I felt very. I just felt.
I know
really,
you feel,
and it's not like I'm not like a rich person. I live in my mom's basement. Like I'm not rich. Like I just felt very like. Just like very like overwhelmed and stressed and whatever. And I had said like, I'm a comedian, I'm going to work, blah, blah, blah. Like I was just like, and he wrote down on a piece of paper, like Natalie paid me this amount of money and doesn't, or like whatever, like something ridiculous. Anyway.
Did she get his license?
Yeah, I feel like
infuriating for me to hear that.
Yeah, I think the end of the story is going to drive you insane.
Okay.
There's
more.
Okay, so then he goes, by the way, you're a comedian. What's your Instagram? And like I gave him my Instagram. I walked back to my car. He walked back to his car. I got in my car 2 seconds later. He comes to my car and he's like, hey, what time are you done with work? And I was like, I don't know why. He's like, do you want to get dinner? We can use the $500.
I hate him.
My God.
It was insane.
Red flag.
Then I was like, I like drove to the stand. I was like, I just lost $500. This guy was insane. Like, this is crazy. And
I think I'm going to date him.
And I have a husband now.
Enter into an abusive relationship.
He called me like 5 times.
He did call you?
He did.
I'm so sorry that happened to you, but you know what? Like,
give his name out on the podcast so then we can dox him.
I have to look for it.
He should be ashamed of himself because he obviously took advantage of you. He bullied you into giving.
He literally
him that
said,
money.
"Oh, I should have asked for 1,000."
Yeah.
He totally bullied you, and you know what? Like, it's so infuriating as a woman to be out in the world and you're just trying to do the right thing, and you get bullied into. Basically, he stole $500 from you.
Yeah.
And the other thing about that is like, just never stop and never get out of your car. Never stop and never get out of your car.
I did hit his car though, but not that bad.
Who fucking cares? You're a woman at night.
Yeah.
Call the cops. Be like, call the cops
I didn't have time.
Yeah.
But I should have said
no,
I'd
be like, first of all, I would never pull over. I'd be like, call the cops if you need to. Do whatever you need to do. I'm a woman at night. I'm not getting out of my car.
Yeah.
I don't care what bullshit you're trying to pull. I'm not going to be raped at the bottom of the bridge. Okay.
And
Really?
throw that out too.
Yeah.
Throw that out.
Fucking rapist. Throw that out right away.
And fucking, I was talking to Jim Norton when I got to the stand. And he was like, "Well, you can talk about this on stage. This is like definitely something you should talk about on stage." And I talked about it on stage that night, and it was like fine. And then I tried one more time talking about it on stage, and let me tell you guys, the story is just not funny. I have never been able to make it funny. There's nothing funny about it. It's just not funny. It's just not funny. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, but you have an emotional connection to it, which is a good start. If you want to turn it into a funny piece, I think I would
maybe also talk about maybe why it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because I think then you're gonna like hit on areas that are relatable, especially for other ladies.
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't throw it away just yet. You can sit on these. I sit on jokes or ideas for years.
Yes.
Okay.
And I bring them back inadvertently because you, just in general, not you specifically, but in comedy, I think certain times in your comedy career, like you're just going to get better. Even 10 years from now, 15 years, you're going to be
or
so
you
much
will be
better.
on a cruise ship. Or you will be on a cruise ship. But you're right.
You get
though.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these jokes, I know I think sometimes the crowd is actually they like you and they're just concerned for you.
Yeah.
That's all that you're getting. You
Yes.
get those like where they're like, oh my God, that really sucks. And this isn't really funny because they like you.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And also Sarah's right. Like the way your mind works, like if you have something and you kind of work on it a little bit, your subconscious mind actually continues to work on it. So you could continue doing stand up and 5 years later you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like this is a bit now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do feel like stories that are traumatic in that way kind of it is like a touchy subject where it's like I would suggest if you do want to mine it, this is what I would do. This is how I would turn this into a joke. I would type out the story exactly as you've told us now. Then I would go back and I would edit the story to take out any redundancy. So like type it out like sentence by sentence of exactly what happened. Then each sentence I would go through and I would be like, this is the setup to the joke and what's the punchline. Okay. So like we just found some in there when we were talking, like I just kissed it, just a little meet cute, whatever. That's the first joke, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you go through and you take the next part of the story and
He's
that's
waving
a joke.
his phone at you.
He's
where
waving
you're
his
like,
phone. You're
oh
like,
my God, he wants my
a
number.
fan? Yeah.
You recognize me?
And you have to kind of also, I think, do your work of understanding comedy fundamentals too, of like what are the different punchlines that people use. And, I know you used to do the roast battles, which I think is really good for getting an understanding of like formulaic writing. But like
shit on him. Roast him.
Absolutely roast him.
Yeah.
Or like, is this a maybe when you get to the bullying part of the story, that joke is an analogy of women are getting bullied all the time, or maybe there's another observation about how this is relatable to women in general.
Yeah.
It's like I just give them $500 because I know I'm going to be bullied by a man. I might as well. It's either here or I'm, getting demanded to tip $500 at Starbucks from the barista who like doesn't like the way I look. So that's how I would turn it into a joke. Then I would try it out, and then I would just go back for like a week every day, go back and be like, that joke didn't work. I'm going to try a different punchline here.
Yeah.
This joke did work. Maybe there's a tag that reveals another piece of information.
Or that later on, maybe in your life, you have another, like a joke that does work out, but it kind of can relate to that scenario. So then you can go back to that scenario and tie it up. And then maybe with getting the laugh on the first joke will soften it. And maybe people will not be like, oh,
yes.
Yeah.
A jab in. So maybe
jab
like
in. Like
don't start by being like, well, I was just held up.
I was
I was just extorted. I would start with like, I just met the cutest guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Think of it, put it in the lens of maybe positivity.
If you wrote that whole joke out, like I just met this amazing guy, then it would setting it up like that would give it a great misdirection for each bit because you're setting it up like you just had a meet cute and then you're punching it with like actually what happened. So
People are playing it out. You're giving the audience gifts.
You're giving them gifts, and they're seeing this portrayal that you're having of a woman who is delusional, which is always really fun.
Yeah.
People love that.
People love an insane woman.
I don't know. Does that even make sense? Does what I'm saying even make sense? I feel
absolutely.
like.
It makes me want to like really learn more about everything.
I also find in writing too, play with like prepositional phrases. Sometimes like adding an extra thing at the end of a sentence really changes the dynamic of the statement.
Yeah, I feel like one thing of doing comedy so long that I've really become skilled at is like what you say, how the audience perceives what you say, because we often think that we're like being super clear, and I see comics go on stage with a joke and it bombs. I see they don't understand why, but it's because what they're saying does not actually make sense to the audience.
Yeah,
right.
Even like the setup or even like the simple. So I say like go as simple as possible.
Explain a lot more than you think you need to explain sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean by adding prepositional phrases?
I don't know. Like, I threw that out there and now I don't even have an example. So I'm just like
I
chaos.
think it's just like playing with the language though. Of
Yeah.
like how you're ending the sentences and
I'm trying to think of an example within my set, but like a preposition, you know, like, or like because, add a because at, and then that changes it into another direction. You know, like I hit him with my car because, and then you can do something like, to make it, to rationalize why you would hit somebody with your car and when you add because to it, and then that's like a funny statement in itself. Just like, as you said, just like playing around with language.
Okay,
I
cool.
think works.
Yeah. And I think like a good way to just develop those like fundamental skills of like understanding misdirection is just to drill it every single day and be like, today I'm going to do my free writing. And I do that sometimes. I call it a fundamental.
Yeah.
I spend 1 month each. And there's tons of like joke writing exercises and joke writing like books out there that you could get to be like, I'm going to master the misdirection. Now I'm going to master analogies, and I'm just going to focus on it and really only write those every day until I get like a deep understanding of how to do them and how to just put them in anywhere.
I feel like joke writing is what really makes me admire a comic. Like I feel like when there is a comic on stage that has amazing joke writing, that's what makes me go, oh fuck. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone has different things that they like. Comedy is subjective. Everyone has different things that they like look up to in a comedian. But for me personally, like that's what makes me go like, oh shit, like I want to go home and like be a better comic.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because like I'll watch a comic that has an amazing joke and it's always like, God, I wish that was mine.
Yeah, it's like watching a magician or something.
I think Bonnie McFarlane's really great with
She's
that.
amazing. Yeah.
She's great. But for me, I really love a stage presence too. And I think it goes hand in hand, because if you have somebody up there who's unlikable, like they could have the best jokes in the world. I'm like, you seem like an asshole and I'm not into it.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
Like
That's a good point.
I feel like a good example. I just saw TJ Miller, and I don't think I've ever really seen him fully do a stand-up. And I have to say, he didn't really go on stage with any bits. But I was like, this guy is funny. He had a presence about him.
He was so in the moment and so having
playful,
fun, entertaining. And it was like, I think that for me was actually much harder to come to than writing jokes. Of like getting into a playful, because I have like a lot of anxiety and it's very normal for me to close off.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I consider it just kind of like perfectionism, that you want it to go really well. And I feel like when you're like that, you're so rigid and like you just have elements that you can't control in the room, that it's better to just be like, it's not going to go perfect, and you're going to have to embrace those really sloppy moments and have fun with them, rather than being like,
running off stage. But it's true, like if you have that playful energy, and I think like there are some comics too that have amazing writing, and then they also have that amazing stage presence as well. Like I'm thinking of like Mateo Lane, where he's just like, he goes on stage and you're like, oh my gosh, what an amazing personality that he's cultivated, and he just is like this fabulous, he commands the room.
He does.
And TJ Miller does that as well, where when you get off stage, whether you were more focused on jokes or whether you were more of a personality-based comic, no one is going to remember the one odd joke you did that didn't hit.
Yeah.
They're never
Except for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be spiraling in your mind like someone looked at me askance, and that's mental illness, and you have it. Okay. But if you stay after the show, like it's happened to me so many times where I'm like, I don't know if that set wasn't the experience that I was really hoping for, especially if I'm trying new stuff. And then people come up after you and they're like, that was so funny. I saw I love this joke. And they just don't even notice it. And we're so hyper focused on the negative that we just immediately spiral.
Yeah. And it's fine.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like the story of my life.
Doing a time check. Okay, guys.
Sure.
I could talk to you all day. Listen.
It's been really fun.
I love you guys. I feel like I've learned so much. I am obsessed with astrology. I'm obsessed with like tarot cards and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I do a little tarot myself.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Can I tell you, Katie did mine the other day, and I have to tell you, she just did one card.
I just did one card. That was at our Lady Journey hang for our $20 Patreon tiers. We currently have one attendant.
And I think you set my back pain free.
What card did you pull?
I forget what it was.
Five of Wands reversed.
Yes,
Yeah.
where I was overcoming.
It was like the struggle is over and now it's time to breathe.
My
and time
back
to
is
move
better.
forward. Oh my God, I'm so happy to hear
Yeah.
that.
I am walking.
God. You don't understand how
it's
obsessed
amazing.
I like.
It's amazing.
Every episode I pull a card, and every Twitch stream I do, I pull a card. I
love it.
Wait, first I must ask your astrological signs just for my own pleasure.
Well, I'm a Cancer, so welcome to my season.
What are you?
It's the time of Katie. I am an Aries.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So I have 2 Oracle decks and I have a tarot deck today. You guys can pick which one we will pull. I like to see if it encapsulates like the energy of the episode.
I'm definitely gonna do tarot. And I'm interested to see. I'm not like, I used to be so good at tarot that I literally would like do readings, and I would do readings and I'd be like feeling the vibe. I'd have like a glass of wine and I'd just like bust it out at a sleepover and just like impress everyone. And I'm not at that level now, but I do it enough on my own that I may be able to like just tell the meaning of whatever card I pull.
Oh my God. I am obsessed.
I always shuffle 3 times.
So you do tarot readings?
I'm learning. I feel like I just pull cards and I'm just trying to like, I feel like I'm learning the meaning of each card of the cards by like doing a pull every day and stuff like that.
Yeah. Can you apprentice with tarot card readers? You know, the ones that you see in the West Village?
In my local strip mall in Indianapolis, there was a healing center. And they did, I remember when I was in high school, I like filled out an application to be some kind of, I guess it was like a freelance clairvoyant.
Yeah.
But did not get the call. Did not hear from them.
Maybe
and
your
my card I'm
mind
pulling
was
is
too closed.
Knight of Coins, which this is so me right now. Knight of Coins represents, so coins are always financial world, and Knight is it's a little step above the page of coins, which would indicate like a novice or somebody who is just getting started on their like financial journey or like some kind of new monetary project. But Knight of Coins means like I'm in it, I'm going for it, and I'm actually on the last chapter of Think and Grow Rich, which I've been reading for 2 months now because it is very dense. And I am really focusing on trying to make fucking money, fucking get those dollar bills and be an entrepreneur. So I think this is a good one. And I think I gave some good advice today about being your own small business person.
I can't. This is a record. We haven't had to read from the pamphlet. I mean, Katie.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Thank
Do I
you.
pull a card?
You can choose. Do you want to do that? Do you want to try a different one? I don't know the meanings of those ones.
I'll try
That one is a very fun deck. That is from Marsh. He is a friend from Twitch.
Do I shuffle?
That's a very fun deck. Yes,
I feel like
shuffle
you
it.
have to shuffle because you have to get your energy on the cards.
I don't want to bend your cards though.
No, put your energy in.
Okay.
Wow, Katie, you don't understand how impressed I am. I can't pull
my
a card
gosh.
and just know the meaning like that.
It's pretty rare for me to be able to do that, but
I have been pulling a lot of coins lately.
Yeah, coins. I love coins. And also, like, coins also...
Or shall I say, pentacles.
The pentacles. The pentacles also do represent, like if there's like a person in your life, it could represent like a darker haired person. Obviously, back in the day, these were made by gypsies, so it's clearly Jews. But that is not a politically correct term. But I always use it to like represent a darker haired or darker complected person in my life, who maybe is like a night figure. Like it also could represent like my boyfriend or somebody, you know, or like a daddy, a sugar daddy coming. But I'm my own sugar daddy. That's what I'm saying.
Your own sugar daddy.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a chapter in Lady Journey.
Oh, yes. BYOSD.
I love that. I love that.
So what do I do? Just choose one?
Yes. Those have stuff on both sides.
This one says, you are loved on the back. And then you are here for a reason. Don't fuck it up.
I like that. That's like our badass affirmations that we made fun of that were like, these are like badass little tips.
Don't fuck it up.
Oh, it's the rebel deck. Yeah.
And I'm loved.
You're loved. You're here for a reason. Don't fuck it up.
Fuck it up.
That's too much pressure. I'm like, I think I'm fucking it up.
I mean, what is fucking it up?
What is fucking it up, right?
What is?
Do or don't. Just live your life.
I think that
having an amazing time.
That's true. You can't fuck it up.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. Even people that do horrific things, I'm like, who knows? What's the definition of fucking it up?
Yeah,
I do love. There's something about this type of card that's like an affirmation that's like kind of backhanded. You know? Like,
yeah.
You look great for your age. Are these helping me or are they really feeding my anxiety? I cannot tell.
Don't fuck it up like you usually do.
Yeah. That's just a toxic mentor.
Yeah. That was fun, but I think I prefer this because it leads up for interpretation.
Yeah. The tarot deck is so good for interpretation because there are so many different meanings, and it's also I have done a Lady Journey episode about I do tarot for my own psychological benefit. I do it as like a self-therapy where your own mind sees whatever it wants to see in there, and that's the most important thing for you.
Yes.
Like if you're getting a message of something, it's just something that's in your subconscious that's being brought to the forefront.
Yeah, it's a vessel for self-reflection.
Exactly. That was so concise, Natalie. I loved it.
Thank you. I have to defend tarot cards on a daily basis. So.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, because I remember a friend went to a psychic and they told her to basically leave her boyfriend. And I was like, you know, as much as I didn't say leave your boyfriend, but you have someone toxic in your life. But I was like, it's not like it was a catalyst for you to do what you should have been doing. Yeah. And you just were looking for an outside sign. So sometimes it doesn't matter where you get your affirmations from.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like if you leave your boyfriend because of a tarot reading, like you were going to leave him. Yeah. You were going to leave him.
Yeah. But as long as you got the message that you needed, then I'm all for it.
Sometimes we really lie to ourselves, especially in romantic relationships that have ended. That's been a scariest time in my life where I've been like, oh, I actually hated this person for like a year and they've been terrible to me.
Yeah. And you keep thinking that you need to work on it.
Yeah. You're like it's going to get better. He just doesn't like it when I talk to other men on the phone. What'd you get, Natalie?
I got dependency.
But usually these tarot cards can spin into both ways.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can we make dependency positive?
I always do try to do it positive. Otherwise, I'll be like, I got the tower. Like, where's the other shoe going to drop? But dependency, it can be good, like, in terms of, like, interdependency. You know, like, we are women creating a community here.
Yes. Yeah.
We're letting you lean on us. We're saying, hey, you know, hey, little girl, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. And that's really, like, wasn't this
that's the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast. Help.
It's help with Natalie Cuomo.
Yeah.
Guys,
is that the podcast is we're supposed to help you?
Yeah. Did we help you? Do you feel
like
I
hope so.
Oh my God. We're heroes.
You are heroes.
We are heroes.
I think I'm a therapist.
Where can people find you guys?
Please check out Lady Journey, our podcast. It's on all platforms. It has its own blog, ladyjourney.org. We're on Patreon as well.
Instagram, TikTok. Although it's hard to get the love on TikTok right now.
TikTok has not been popping off.
No, it hasn't
like
been
I
popping
hoped
off.
that it would.
I think we have to come on there with like...
We have to dazzle them.
Dazzle them. And then where are your socials, you guys?
I'm at Katie Hannigan and Katie Hannigan Forever on Instagram.
And I'm at Tollemache on all platforms.
Awesome. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
And I'll
Thanks for
see you
having
next
us.
week.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.